Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Hare Krishna, everyone. Your voice is not audible, Prabhuji.
Is it better now?
Okay, now we are able to hear, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. So,
Hare
we would
Krishna.
like to welcome all the devotees for this most auspicious association of the disciples of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj. We hear from different disciples the glories of Srila Guru Maharaj every week. And this week we are having with us His Grace Madhavendra Puri Prabhu from France. So we would like to request Her Grace Premamaji Mataji to kindly begin the session introducing Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine Snigdha Cheta Supraneta Vagme Nam Charu Satputam Prabhupada Gata Prana Nami Bhakti Charu Padam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishvesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatrivescha Kripasinubhyevacha Patitanam Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna, dear devotees, dear Madhavendra Prabhu. It's so nice to see you after such a long time.
Yes, me too.
So nice. So today we have our dear godbrother Madhavendra Prabhu. He's a very senior disciple of Guru Maharaj. A very, very dear godbrother. Has done amazing services for Guru Maharaj around the world. Actually, I'm reading his bio. In 4 different continents he has served Guru Maharaj, which is not something many of us can boast of. He is, okay, I will just read it out in short and then we will do an informal, less formal introduction as well. Madhavendra Puri Das met the devotees in 1984 in Paris, France, joined in 85 in Krishnaville, France, met Guru Maharaj in France in the spring of 87 and got initiated on the 24th of November, 1988 in New Mayapur, France. He received his Brahmin initiation in November 1990 in Mayapur. He was serving Guru Maharaj in 4 different continents under Guru Maharaj's direct instructions. He did book distribution for about 10 years. He was involved in Saving New Mayapur in 91, 92. And actually, this is a very important chapter in Guru Maharaj's, if we look at the services that Guru Maharaj did in ISKCON, New Mayapur, Saving New Mayapur is definitely one of the very important chapters. And Guru Maharaj always wanted to write a book about it. But now, Madhavendra is heading up the team. I think you're doing it with Janava and a few other devotees, Madhavendra?
Yes, Janava and quite a few others as well. Yeah.
Writing a book about it, as Guru Maharaj never got around to doing it. Running a small preaching center in Paris. He ran a small preaching center in Paris with Leela Madhuri and Parthasarathi Prabhu, who is now a Maharaj.
He used to be, he left the world. He took sannyas in 96 and he left the world, I think in 2018. I don't hear your voice, Prema. Your voice is gone.
Sannyas disciple.
He took sannyas in 96 and left in 2018. He was very aged.
His first sannyas disciple, right?
I don't know. There is also Bhakti Vibhav Maharaj. I don't know whether it took before. I don't know who is first.
Charu Maharaj was his Guru Maharaj's first.
Is it? Okay, could be, yeah.
I remember. And he also ran a preaching center in Mauritius from 95 to 97. He moved to Mayapur in 97. He was very involved in the distribution of Abhay Charan tapes in Canada and the US in 98. He got involved in Divine Foods, Durham, 1999 to 2001. Then he moved back to Mayapur and has been involved in education since 1995. He's done his teacher's training certificates, 1 and 2. Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav. Gosh, you're so intelligent, Madhavendra Prabhu. He taught Bhakti Shastri, disciple course, Bhakti Vaibhav in MI, VIHC in South Africa, France, Mauritius, Hare Krishna. Moved back to France in 2009 and is presently living near New Mayapur with his family, his wife and child. He runs his own Vedic Theology Institute, accredited by BOEX of ISKCON. He gives courses in Bhakti Shastri, disciple course, Bhakti Pravesh, and soon Bhakti Vaibhav, both in English and French. Hare Krishna. For me, Madhavendra is just a sweet, sweet, loving senior godbrother. He's always been around. Always a pleasure to be around. I remember serving Guru Maharaj. We all served Guru Maharaj together in so many different Mayapur and Mauritius even.
Yeah.
It was always a pleasure to serve with Madhavendra. Always, we would always be laughing and be happy, and it was such a loving mood always around. Being around Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj always pampered us with so much love, and
yes,
I think men got more source than we did, but overall it was such a happy, loving, and beautiful memories serving Guru Maharaj together.
I've got one in mind. I'm going to share now.
So without much ado, we will hand the floor over to you. So Madhavendra Prabhu, we have a talk. You can speak for about 45 minutes, and then we open the floor to questions.
Yes.
Speak into them. My internet in Mayapur is a little choppy. I may drop off and on and off and on sometimes. I don't have Wi-Fi,
sure.
But
I understand.
over to you.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Charu Sumiliti Namine Snigdha Chita Supanita Vagminam Shara Saputam Prabhupada Gata Pranam Nami Bhakti Charu Padam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedant Swami Nitinamine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyas Deshitarine Vanchakalpa Tulbasha Kripa Sinyubayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Yes, I'm very happy to reconnect with Prema Manjari Devidasi. She's a very, very sweet god sister of mine, and we had wonderful time. It reminds me the story of the laptop, Prema. I don't know if you remember. Are you still there? Perhaps she's gone. At one point, Guru Maharaj, long back, perhaps later, I would say early 90s, he had promised me one of his laptop, like Mahaprasad. I was involved in those days, I guess, in collecting money for different projects. And he said, Madhavendra, I'll offer you my own laptop. In those days, it was like, of course, laptop of those times, And Prema, in the meantime, because Prema was living in Mayapur, she had an eye on this laptop as well. Do you remember the story?
I don't remember being so greedy, but anyway.
She kind of coaxed Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, she was doing some correspondence work and secretarial work. And she kind of hinted at the fact to Guru Maharaj, well, that laptop would be quite appreciated, in the service. And, Guru Maharaj, he kind of stuck to his original premise, resolve. And finally, she tried. But finally, I got the laptop. Just by looking at you, I just remember it occurred to me, this past time occurred to me. Yes, so before I start, I want to remind all of you, I guess you are all disciples of Guru Maharaj, that spiritual life has nothing to do with proximity or seniority. We shouldn't be thinking, well, we are one of the first ones. When I got initiated, there was perhaps Guru Maharaj had 10 disciples, perhaps, So that's, in and of itself, is not an advantage, spiritual advantage. And the story of the bug, the mosquito, may be very close to the king, but in no way is it an advantage or favor to the king. On the contrary, he may be nagging the king by trying to bite him. So bear in mind that perhaps you haven't been that close to Guru Maharaj doesn't mean you cannot be a good disciple. And Sureshwar Prabhu, one of his Guru Maharaj's godbrothers, he used to tell, there's a difference between initiate and disciple. You may be initiated by a guru, well and good, but unless and until you act as a disciple, you remain an initiate. Maybe initiated devotees may have strayed away over time and they lost their discipleship. So in the same way, we should draw a demarcation between the two titles. Initiate, you are initiated by Prabhupada, you are initiated by Bhakti Charu Maharaj, but are you going to remain a disciple? Means discipleship, means you are meant to receive correction if need be. Just a small reminder. So I'm going to, like Prema was suggesting, there's different ways to approach this talk. I'm going to, first of all, highlight one particular quality of Guru Maharaj. I'm not going to tell you this quality. I'm going to tell a past time that happened, and I want you to discover the quality. So, yes, as we remember from history, we had, Bhagwan Prabhu. He was very instrumental in Western Europe in those days. And unfortunately, for different reasons, he fell down from his position in 86. Guru Maharaj was very quickly posted as a fresh GBC and freshly empowered, appointed as a guru also around the same time, 87, 86, perhaps 87. And he came to France. I remember he came to France, and France practically was like a graveyard in terms of his kind. Many devotees had followed behind their guru who had left, and many of them left, unfortunately. So Guru Maharaj came very early. We were doing book distribution in the south of France. We were camping, actually. He came, and even he distributed books, even. I remember that, with Nitai Gaur Sundar Prabhu, very senior devotee of France. And, over the span of 1 year, 1 year and a half, I got to know him through mails. In those days, there was no computer, no internet, no mobile phone. So through letters, postal letters, we used to correspond. And I remember very clearly, you know, I had myself, I was quite a new devotee. I had joined in 85. So I was trying, because in those days there were 2 GBCs for France, freshly appointed GBCs to reshape the whole Yatra. The Yatra was at collapse, not only Yatra, France, but the whole Europe, Western Europe. So it was a chaotic condition. So, and I was quite brand new, and I was kind of hesitating between the 2, you know, whether should I take from Bhakti Charu Maharaj or Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, with himself a great, great soul. He left the world in 2006, I believe, from Manipur. And I was kind of having a natural approach to my selection between the guru. I was kind of, you know, ticking off on a piece of paper, which quality does he have that I don't have? So obviously, I was ticking off, he's got that quality, I don't have this quality, so that's a good point. I should perhaps approach him. He's got that quality I don't have. I was, you know, ticking off one after the other. And at one point, I was very fond of Guru Maharaj, but still I hadn't made up my mind. So obviously, because the Yatra was such in a bad shape, Guru Maharaj used to come around quite often to France. And one time I opened my heart to him. And I told him, Guru Maharaj, see, I'm quite hesitating. I want to take initiation, but again, can you please shed some light? So Guru Maharaj gave me a beautiful example, still today I remember. He told me it's a bit like a marriage, husband and wife. It's a bit like a marriage. The girl may have all the good qualities, but unless and until you have a strong liking for her, you have to love her. You're not going to marry someone you don't love her. So in the same way, his final lesson was there should be an affinity of heart, Madhavendra. You know, there should be an affinity of heart. You may be ticking off that quality, he's got that one, this one, but unless and until there's an affinity of heart. So that itself overflowed on this side. Immediately I understood this is my Guru Maharaj. Because obviously Guru Maharaj, as you know him, he used to conquer people, conquer disciples, male and female alike. He used to conquer. That was his approach, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just like Srila Prabhupada. A spiritual personality will conquer from the heart, not from the brain. So that was a little introduction to his personality. Now I want to tell a story that happened in France. I was his secretary in those days. It must have been late 80s. As I said, he became a GBC 87 or so. Must have been 88, 89. I don't remember clearly. So for those who remember, he had a silver-colored case. I don't know if you remember that particular suitcase of Guru Maharaj. Silver-colored, totally glossy, you know, glossy color, silver-colored. And he was bound to take, we were in New Mayapur. New Mayapur is about central France, a little above centers of France, let's say 250, 300 kilometers from Paris, going south. And the next day, early morning, he had a flight from early airport. There's many airports in Paris, and that one is southern part of Paris, southern suburbs, early. So he told me, Madhavendra, the day before, he told me afternoon or so, will you pack up? We're going to drive tonight. We'll check in a hotel, and I'll fly tomorrow. And I was not supposed to fly with him, but he told me I was his chauffeur, secretary, chauffeur, and all these things. And he kind of told me, you know, since I come often to New Mayapur, I'm going to leave some stuff here. Let me plug my battery. It's running out. Yeah, sorry about that. So he told me, So he told me, Madhavendra, since I come quite often here, let me leave some stuff behind, some of my belongings behind. So you just pick up those suitcases, you take along those suitcases and you leave those behind. Yes, Guru Maharaj. Okay, so we leave, we drive, no problem. We drive, we check in a hotel, in the airport itself, it's full of hotel resorts. We check in early and around 7 or 8 p.m. And I slept on the floor, on a little rug, and he slept on the bed, of course. And of course, luckily we woke up quite early. And he told me, okay, Madhavendra, you please bring my suitcase, that silver-colored suitcase. And I said, Guru Maharaj, this is the one you told me to leave behind. So I don't know if you know Guru Maharaj well, but I guess it's a Bengali trait. When someone is extremely angry, his lower lip will quiver. And I was told Srila Prabhupada had this demeanor as well. So Guru Maharaj was so furious, he didn't bless me even. His lower lip would quiver. And immediately, I had been trained a little bit. Immediately, I got on the phone. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning. The flight is around 7:30. We have 2-3 hours. We're about 250 kilometers. That suitcase is full of all his belongings, tickets, money, papers, you name it. Everything is there. The most important suitcase I left behind. I got it backwards. I took the wrong one. I left the right one behind. So immediately I got on the phone. I called the president. No way. No, I cannot do it, Prabhu. Make a few phone calls. Finally, I managed to get hold of Vishva Guru, senior devotee. Prabhu, you please get on he had a Mercedes, I remember. I told him, you get on the car, I'll give you anything you want. Any money, how much money you want, I'll pay everything. So finally I convinced him. And immediately he got on the car and lo and behold, he got on time. And now I'm coming to the lesson. Please pay attention. As if nothing had happened. As if nothing had happened. Guru Maharaj was very cool about it. Yes, okay. I took him to the airport. I saw him off. And that's it. So my dear friends, what is the lesson you want to derive from this? What is this particular quality I want to highlight in Guru Maharaj? Can you hear? Can they hear? Or they cannot speak, perhaps?
I think most devotees are muted.
Or they have been muted, huh? Oh, okay, I understand. Anyone would like to contribute? Because it's an obvious quality. It's an obvious quality. You can raise your hand and just share you want to speak, mention you want to speak. No one? Can I see? Perhaps I know a few of them. I don't think so. Anyway, I would like to share, contribute. What could be the quality I want to highlight in Guru Maharaj? Okay. So obviously, and this is not the only time I noticed that in him, is merciful nature. Guru Maharaj will not keep a grudge. And 2 things we have to derive from this adventure. We should fix it up. Guru Maharaj taught me that many times. You fix up. You made a blunder, you fix it up. And that's what I did by Krishna's grace, He didn't keep grudges, do the needful, and he had a merciful nature. I've seen on another occasion also. He would forgive as if nothing had happened. So that's a beautiful quality of Guru Maharaj. Now, Guru Maharaj, in the early days, what struck me compared to after he became, like a worldwide acharya, he was at the end, he must have had perhaps 3, 4, 5,000 disciples. I don't know exactly. But you have to understand, in those days, he was extremely approachable. Extremely approachable. He would tell me, okay, Madhavendra, let's get in the car. So yes, Maharaj, where are we going? Anywhere, just drive. Because he wanted to relax in the car, just to break away from all these managerial problems, especially in New Mayapur. Was a heavy, hard nut. It was a heavy story. I'm writing a book on this on behalf of Guru Maharaj. Very complicated story. So he would drive off, and then he would tell me insights on his very early childhood. He would just confide in me. It was such a nice moment. He was, as I said, extremely approachable. And he would say, when he was very, very young, his grandfather had a cobra. He would keep a cobra. You're talking about Bangladesh, because Guru Maharaj was born in Bangladesh today. I mean, in those days, he was still Bengal. He was born in 44. That's another point of contention. Oftentimes, devotees think he's born in 45. On the passport, it's written 45, but actually, he's born in 44. His parents didn't react quick enough. So by the time they reacted, it was 45, but it's 44. So in those days, it was still Bengal, East Bengal. So he told me that his grandfather would keep a cobra just like we keep a dog. We don't keep dogs, okay, but many people keep dogs as a guard, to guard the house. So he would tell me my grandfather would keep a cobra, feed the cobra, and in exchange, the cobra would guard the house. Quite an amazing point. What else he told me? He told me also that his grandfather predicted that you would be a guru one day. His grandfather predicted that. And also he used to confess to me that he used to love reading. And he used to be quite fond of French literature. In France, we had lots of great authors, like Alexandre Dumas. He wrote The Three Musketeers. So he would tell me I would not just frivolously spend my time in play. I would mostly read, go to the library and read. He was an avid reader. Yeah. And he was fond of cars. I remember that very clearly. Very early, I'm very fond of cars. And he would tell me about this brand, Citroën. Citroën is a French brand. So I was like, quite amazed. He knows a lot, even outside of Krishna consciousness. Now, I want to bring to the forefront another story that happened in Mayapur. I was also a secretary at one point in Mayapur. I moved to Mayapur in 1997, but even prior to that, I used to go quite often to Mayapur and serve as a secretary, on and off. So it's another story. There was a Bengali Guru Bhai of mine, about my age, and I was a little close to him. And one afternoon, this Prabhu came and he wanted to meet with Guru Maharaj. It was very, extremely quiet time. It's very hot outside. No one comes. I guess the devotees take a nap at that time. Mayapur, like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, 4. And he came and I was there, nonchalantly. I was there just listening to their talk. And can you imagine this disciple of Guru Maharaj? He was duly initiated. He asked the permission to Guru Maharaj, can I please leave your shelter and be reinitiated? What a plea to ask one's Guru. Can I have your permission to be reinitiated? And he wanted to be reinitiated by Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, disciple of Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur, who was very aged. He left the world, he was about 105 or so. And I remember the talk. Maharaj was quite quiet. He would keep not speak out a word. And it was in Bengali, of course, but I could understand a little bit of Bengali. And Kumar just listened to him entirely, and I could see he was very tense, very, very tense. And at the end, the devotee finished his talk, and Kumar told him, "You are released. You may go. You are released." So in the deep recesses of my heart, I was feeling such an unfortunate moment, such an unfortunate moment for him. What a extremely inauspicious move on his part. And he left the room. And I heard later, I was not there, but I heard, because I was, I had acquaintances in that mat also. He went to Bhakti promote Puri Maharaj, and he asked him, he opened his bag. Of course, he had some grievances about his Khan. And he asked the permission to be reinitiated by him. And you know what happened? Maharaj, this great Acharya, also was keeping quiet. And when he found out that actually this Prabhu had been initiated already initiated by Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he told him, "I reject you." And he said, "He's a sad guru." Talking about Bhakti Charu Maharaj, "You're a sad guru. I reject you." So you can imagine the state of affair. That devotee has been rejected from both sides, by his original Diksha Guru and by his meant to be future Diksha Guru. So that struck me heavily. I understood very deeply, first-hand experience. I understood we should always, the worst thing for a devotee, the worst thing is to reject a good standing guru. There's nothing worse in spiritual life, nothing worse. Krishna will never forgive you. So this is the state of affair. He got rejected by two spiritual personalities. And Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj mentioned, is talking about Guru Maharaj, is a sad guru. I reject you. So this is a philosophical, very important point. Just like Guru Maharaj himself was extremely sold out to Srila Prabhupada. Very early, very, very, very early. I joined, it was still zonal Acharya system. I don't know if you were around in those days, but ISKCON was fragmented into little pockets. I mean, big pockets even, huge pockets sometimes. But zonal Acharya system, you cannot, it's like empires. And very early, Guru Maharaj used to tell us, as way back as 87, he would tell me, "Madhavendra, I cannot take you back to Krishna." And that was quite a sentence in those days, because the Acharya, I mean, they were acting as Acharya, basically. They were meant to be pure devotees and meant to be able to take you right back to Krishna on their own. Guru Maharaj never budged an inch from that Siddhant. Never. What is the Siddhant? Srila Prabhupada is the via medium towards the spiritual world. All we have to do as spiritual master is not to add up, neither to subtract from his message. But then he added up to that first sentence. He said, "Madhavendra, I can take you back to Srila Prabhupada." And that I was fine. I never got disappointed, never. I understood that very early in my spiritual life, that Guru Maharaj is meant to take us to Srila Prabhupada, is meant to highlight the message of Srila Prabhupada. Of course, adding up his own vigyan, his own realizations, and his softness of heart and all his wonderful Vaishnava qualities of his. But never Guru Maharaj did attempt to overshadow Srila Prabhupada, like so many others did long back. So that's a very important quality of Guru Maharaj. He had this gratefulness of heart. We should be grateful, even on a material level. someone who helps you immensely in your own life, you never reject that. You always be grateful to that person. So that was another trait of Guru Maharaj. Yes. So he had also a benevolent nature. Benevolent nature. Yes, Guru Maharaj, as you know, he used to get lots of donation. That's no doubt. He was, because as I said before, he was expert at touching the heart of many people, devotees and non-devotees alike. So no doubt he would get lots of donation, but he used to tell me, I may get lots of donation, but I'm the most indebted in his ISKCON as a guru. because what happened, he had his fingers, he had his hands in many different projects. And he would to support financially many projects of ISKCON. Food for Life, Abhay Charan, many things, New Mayapur. So he would never say no. He had this very magnanimous nature, benevolent nature. One time I remember, I was there, he received a very valuable gift. I forgot what it was, a watch or something, but something valuable, extremely classy, and obviously it was pricey also. And he had one of his godbrothers from France, and he witnessed the scene. He received, Guru Maharaj received a beautiful gift from, I guess, a disciple or a well-wisher. And immediately that godbrother of Guru Maharaj approached and said, oh, such a nice gift. And, we could detect a little pinch of perhaps envy or something. And you know what Guru Maharaj did? It's amazing. You just received a gift. Guru Maharaj gave the gift to him. He gifted him. He just got the gift. He gifted him. So I was shocked. Another trait of Guru Maharaj is non-detached nature. And is always basically benevolent, magnanimous. That's very important to remember this point. So, yes, like Prema Manjari mentioned, Guru Maharaj told me also a few times that the most fierce battle he have delivered in ISKCON was the Saving of New Mayapur. It's a long story. I'm not going to start it now. I'm writing a book on this. But Guru Maharaj was extremely fond of this project because this project was lost to ISKCON. The project was so much indebted in the millions, not euros, but francs in those days. Euro didn't even exist. I'm talking about millions of debts of francs. And so much so that this project had been lost. ISKCON owed money everywhere, to the state of France, to lots of suppliers whom we never paid. So, it was a catastrophic situation. And Guru Maharaj came to the rescue. And he was totally softened enamored, I would say, by just a bunch of devotees, perhaps 8 or 9 left. That community used to thrive. There were 200 devotees in that community. And down to 8 or 9, talking about 100 hectares. It's huge, huge. And Guru Maharaj was so much, when he first came in 86, 87 or so, he was so much moved by the dedication of the devotees that he took it upon himself. He went to see Shri Radha Govinda Madhav, the deities in New Mayapur. There's 3 sets, Krishna Balaram, Shri Radha Govinda Madhav, Shri Gaunitai. And he told them, look, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's a catastrophic situation. But still, you are the owner of everything. If you want, we can make it. So Guru Maharaj, he came to assess the situation very early. And everyone was telling him, it's a lost case. There's no question. We should sell the place. Not even bother. Guru Maharaj came, practically single-handedly, he vouched to Shri Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and the community. Yes, at least we should try. Then started off an amazing adventure of 6 years of, against all odds, worldwide campaign, and we had to come up with the figure. There was a dead end. There was so much debt that we had to borrowed even to devotees, and we had to pay back with interest on a particular deadline. And by Lord Krishna's grace and Guru Maharaj's grace, and so many other devotees' grace, we managed to finish it off even before the deadline. We finished off the payment in July 92. The deadline was September 92. So we can see Guru Maharaj would take a lot of risk. Because can you imagine? He put his head on the block, if I may say. In those days, he was just a brand new GBC, brand new guru, and he put his name. How did he manage to borrow the money? Just on his name. Look, I need this money. I'll pay you back. Don't worry. So what if we hadn't been able to pay him back, to pay those persons back? The repute of Guru Maharaj would have been stained forever. So this is the state of affair. Guru Maharaj he didn't do things half-heartedly. He had full trust in Krishna, taking full risk. Full risk. I've seen with my own eyes. And we had to take, because the Guru is taking full risk, we have to take full risk. So this is an amazing story. You will see. It's like a thriller. You will see. It's a real story. It's beyond words. So, and this was spearheaded by Guru Maharaj. Of course, he really different other men around him. He had a team. I was part of that team, and it happened. Krishna reciprocated with the hard endeavor of the devotees. So Guru Maharaj, I've seen, he had this deep risk. He was, totally engrossed in risk assessment. I'll do it. We'll do it by Krishna's grace. Let's do it. Let's risk it. It's like the battle of Kurukshetra, I mean, in terms of numbers, the Kauravas are many more, isn't it, compared to Pandavas? They're outnumbered by far. In the same way, there was no way, materially speaking, it could happen, because the figure was enormous. The figure, the depth, the depth itself was enormous, in millions. It happened. So there was a tour de force. Guru Maharaj never, relentlessly, he just put the whole team together. He found the financier, those who are going to come front with the money. We had to reimburse them, of course, but still everything was gradually put into place. Not only Guru Maharaj, it was a big, wide array of devotees who got involved. Local devotees, international devotees. So I want to keep some time for the questions, because I don't know how far, I didn't check when did I start, actually. Sorry about that. Prema, is it over, or should I carry on? I should give time for the questions, I know, you told me.
I think you can speak for another 10 more minutes, Prabhu.
10 more minutes,
and then
okay.
we can take questions.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's discuss about perhaps divine foods. Divine foods, happened in America. Originally, the intention of Guru Maharaj was to enable the grihasthas to make a living, because we know what it is like in ISKCON, especially in the West. Most of the devotees get married, and they just struggle to make a living, to pay the bills, and whether we want it or not, they end up living outside the communities, and oftentimes due to heavy pressure and the rat race of material life, they don't come often to the temples. So Guru Maharaj wanted to reverse the trend. And in those days, talking about 98, 99, Guru Maharaj was fond of America. It's a fact. He used to like America. So he had, of course, disciples in America. And he used to like the place. That's a fact. The way things are being done, it's a bit faster than Europe. People are more together than Europe, I would say. And very early, I remember way back in Calcutta, talking about 98, perhaps 97, I forgot. He told me, Madhavendra, you arrange for all the papers of all the Bengalis. So can you imagine, they're just Bengali devotees from Mayapur. They've never been outside of India. So I had to arrange for, let's say, 20 passports, and they have to be entitled to go to America. And of course, via London, we stopped in London for some time for some shooting for Abhay Charan. Everything, those two projects were going hand in side by side. Abhay Charan was going on in those days, shooting everywhere around the world. And also Divine Food. Divine Food was located in Durham, North Carolina, in USA. So I had to arrange for the paperwork. It was a very tedious work. 2-3 months it took me from Calcutta, going to the American embassy, submitting this paper, this is missing. And anyway, by Krishna's grace, we got it through. So now we're coming all the way, like big party, 20 devotees or so, flying to London, shooting Abhay Charan. Shooting Abhay Charan was a great adventure also. Exactly how it happened, during the Leelas of Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj had found a nice actor, professional actor, who looked quite similar to Srila Prabhupada, a bit taller, but very similar. A very good actor, actually. And then we went from there onwards, we went to America. And basically, there was one devotee from America, originally from South Africa, but in those days he was already settled in America, Guru Garanga. And we ended up hiring the devotees officially, like, working contract and all these things. And we had to manufacture health food bar. Basically, the scheme was, we're going to pump in prasad in American society, wholesaling. We're going to manufacture health food bar, cereal, health food bar, and we're going to offer them to Lord Krishna, and we're going to wholesale them. And then from the wholesaler, it will trickle down to retailers around the country. That was the intent. So we had to learn the job, because no one knew about this line of work. So we had to learn. I was mostly a partner of the company, and we were working on the Guru Maharaj. So it was quite interesting, because he was Guru, but he was also the boss, like the manager of the company, So it was quite. Guru Maharaj had two caps, Guru, but when we were at work, he was different. He was functioning as a manager. And the devotees from Bengal, mostly Bengal, Bangladesh, they were working manufacturing. We bought so much equipment to cut, to mix the paste and mix the ingredients, make a bar, cut the bar, pack them, label them and send them out. It was a big unit, big operation. So that was a very fun time also. And that went on for a while. Then Guru Maharaj kind of pulled off, the project. He left it to Guru Garanga to run it. And later, much later, Guru Garanga sold it off to Keshav Prabhu. He's one of the sons of Urmila Mataji. Yes. Another story that came to mind is I would say, another quality of Guru Maharaj is tolerance. Great deal of tolerance. And I mean, I was the culprit in that particular story, so I can testify he was very tolerant. What happened, we're going back in time now, late 80s or so in France. In Noisy-le-Grand, it was eastern suburbs of Paris. We had a small place, it's kind of a small place there. And Guru Maharaj came over. Balaram Prabhu was there from Switzerland. He used to be a very good secretary of Guru Maharaj. One time Guru Maharaj told me he was my best secretary. And I was sleeping in the room of, actually, three of us were sleeping. It was a big room, so the three of us were sleeping. And okay, we slept through. Morning, Balaram is whispering in my ear, Guru Maharaj didn't sleep at all. I was shocked. I said, what happened? He's saying, because you've been snoring all night. So I was feeling extremely embarrassed. But you can imagine if someone is snoring in your room and keeping you from, especially your own disciple, keeping you from even sleeping, you may get up and tell him, please stop snoring. Guru Maharaj even didn't do that. So I took the vow that day. Officially, I told Guru Maharaj, I will never sleep again in your room. But I was, again, struck with this, I don't want to disturb his sleep. I don't want to disturb his sleep. That's beyond human range to do that, Another time, 94, Guru Maharaj had come to, of course, he was no more GBC in those days, but he told me, Madhavendra, you please organize my Vyasa Puja in New Mayapur. So devotees came from different parts of the world. I remember Jagadananda Pandit from South Africa, quite a few different parts of the world came. We organized the whole thing. And at the time of serving prasad, Guru Maharaj is helping and kneeling down to serve the prasad. I said, Guru Maharaj, no, that's your birthday. You don't serve the prasad. He said, no, it's my birthday, I should be a servant. So we had to firmly and gently brought him back to his seat. Guru Maharaj, please let us serve. So that was his demeanor all along. He wanted to be the servant, even servant of his own disciple. It was, in the early days, it was like that. It was very embarrassing. We had to, firmly and gently, Guru Maharaj, please let us do our service. Another time, I was in Mayapur, and Guru Maharaj was very fond, as you know, of fasting. He told me very early, he told me, you do Nirjal on Ekadashi. I've been doing Nirjal for 35 years by his grace, actually. But very interesting how he handled this particular point, because Guru Maharaj is not Niyamagraha. In Sanskrit, we say Niyamagraha Upadeshamrita. Well, attached to the rules, I got to stick to Nirjal no matter what. So one time, this guru is Srila Maharaj. He left the world long back, 2004 or so. Even senior to Guru Maharaj. He came, and on the day of Ekadashi, Maharaj, we know, is doing Nirjal. I mean, every Ekadashi, in and out. There's no question. And this Maharaj comes, and they hug and have a little chat, informal chat. Please take prasad with me. And I was there. I could see the whole thing. Maharaj, oh, I'm doing Nirjal. So then Sridhar Maharaj told him, what's most important? To accept the invitation of your Guru Bhai, of your loving God brother, or to stick to your resolve? So, and Guru Maharaj got the point, and he took prasad, So this is another lesson. We should not be too rigid. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would tell Giriraj, in those days, Prabhu, he was very strict with himself, not too many sweets, but while taking prasad at the life member's house, Srila Prabhupada would tell Giriraj, why don't you take more sweets? Take a little sweets to it. That will please the host. So in the same way, that day, I got the point. We should not be too rigid. For the sake of a higher principle. Taking prasad, dadati pradignati bhunte bojayate seva, that we share the mind, we share gift, but also prasad. Oh no, I'm doing Nirjal. Leave me alone. So it's a bit impersonal to keep that rigidness that time, Guru Maharaj was quite accommodating, and he got the point. Yes, you're right. Let's take prasad. So that's another great feature of Guru Maharaj. He would Kaladesha Patra, which according to time, places, and circumstances. What else? Yes, Guru Maharaj. Actually, either I go over time or because I've got so many things that come all in one go. There was one godbrother of mine. His name was Krishna Das or something. Very early in Lyon. Lyon is the second or third size city in France, And Guru Maharaj had initiated him also. He was married, couple of kids. And I was quite a new devotee myself. And this devotee was living not in the temple, obviously. He had his own place, a bit outskirts the city in the country. And for some reason or the other, I guess due to lack of association, it's always the same story. Always the same story. We have to that's why I came back to New Mayapur. I'm very close to New Mayapur now, 5 or 6 kilometers away. I used to live here 30 years ago and I came back. It's very important to be close to devotees. Prabhupada used to say, to think we can advance spiritually without association of devotees is a phantasmagoria. Phantasmagoria. It's not possible. So that devotee, Krishna Das, was a nice person. I remember, a very good heart, very soft and caring. And I was, this is the thing, I was not that mature. We kind of neglected him. It's a fact. But when you are a new devotee, you don't click. You don't have a long-term vision. You don't see how Maya is so dangerous. And he drifted away, drifted off. And I remember his last words. I was trying, painstakingly, I was trying to convince him, stay in ISKCON. Guru Maharaj came. Guru Maharaj used to be very fond of him and visit him and how you doing? His children were nice wife, initiated also. And at the end of the day, I was trying to convince him because he had made up his mind, I cannot follow strictly. So then he told me something a bit foolish, but anyway, the mind can come up with any excuse. Better to be a good Christian than a bad Hare Krishna. Can you imagine? Better to be a good Christian than a bad Hare Krishna. You know. And due to it being impersonal, I'm talking about myself. Of course, it's an easy argument to defeat, to dismantle. But I just left it at that. And Guru Maharaj was quite sad, actually, very sad. And then later we tried to reconnect with him, but already he had divorced. You have to understand, Maya will just grab you, and then she will really work on you, and it will get worse. Then divorce, separation, So we can see it's a very important point also. Guru Maharaj was very, very keen. No matter what happened, Madhavendra or anyone else for that matter, don't ever leave ISKCON. It's a boat. It's a boat. There's a verse in the 11th canto that's this: the spiritual life is compared to a boat, and the winds blowing in the sails are compared to the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam. And who is holding the Karnadara is called the captain. Who is holding the wheel of the boat is Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, for the sake of Srila Prabhupada. So we should be very convinced. Guru Maharaj gave his life to ISKCON. He showed us how to live, how to leave the body, because that was not expected, obviously. But I've got a pic where Guru Maharaj reopened his eyes while he was in coma, and I could see this amazing pic. I shouldn't have gotten that pic, but I got it. It's totally clear conscious. You can see it by his eyes, and it's just reminding us. And even a few weeks prior to that, he had told us in the class, due to COVID, you may be stranded somewhere with no association. Be careful, it may happen. So it was like prophetic, a premonition. It happened to him. And in that particular pic, he came up to the surface for a few minutes, and it just back down into his coma, I guess. So it's a reminder we should be ready. Guru Maharaj himself, he had ample opportunities. Don't you know that even Srila Maharaj, can you imagine, Srila Maharaj, disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I met him in 87, 88 perhaps. Srila Maharaj told, because Guru Maharaj used to visit him every day in the 80s, every day. And one time, Srila Maharaj left the world in 88, and he told Guru Maharaj, I have got so much trust into you, so much confidence. You please take over my mat. Can you imagine? You take over my organization. And only because Guru Maharaj, he had received the same instruction that he used to give us. He had received, please, Prabhupada told him, you never leave ISKCON. Doucement, I'm giving a class. My son is speaking high. So the same instruction is parampara. It's parampara. Prabhupada told him, never leave ISKCON. So because of that only itself, he could have taken over the mat of Srila Maharaj. Can you imagine? He refused politely. No, I gave my word. I'm keeping allegiance to Srila Prabhupada. I'm keeping allegiance to ISKCON. So by all means, Guru Maharaj, you can see his trajectory. There's not even a tiny black ink spot on the white linen of his life. There's not even a single black spot. Immaculate trajectory from A to Z. So we're extremely fortunate. We don't realize, Guru Maharaj used to tell me, Madhavendra, we don't see, when you put your hands too close to your face, you don't see the magnitude of your hand. It's too close. So in the same way, he used to tell us, we don't realize the stature of Srila Prabhupada. is so close in one sense, still geographically. Only time will tell. So in the same way, you have to realize that you have been initiated by one of the most aristocratic personality in ISKCON. So this is your saving grace. Always capitalize on this because it won't happen twice. Krishna has been blessing you, and this is, we cannot really fathom the mercy that happened to us. So let's be, a good credit to Guru Maharaj, because he gave his life. He gave his life basically, and this is what it takes to become Krishna conscious. He would not do things half-heartedly. Full swing, full dovetailing of his capacities, even at the name of risking his reputation, even at the name of ruining his image or his words. No, he would really take risk. He was a risk taker. Had full confidence, Krishna. This is one of the traits of a devotee. Taking risk, he knows Krishna is going to reciprocate. Hare Krishna, so I'll stop here. So,
thank you so much, Madhavendra Prabhu. It's so nice.
Hare Krishna.
To hear from you.
There's a lot of
So
sun
nice.
here, actually. It's glaring. Huh? Should I close those shutters or?
May not be a bad idea because you're looking like you're in Swargaloka or something.
Yeah.
Such a strong effulgence coming from you.
Yeah, it looks like it's brighter than India here. We're having a beautiful autumn. Summer was quite lousy, but autumn is great. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Do devotees have any questions for Madhavendra Prabhu? Please raise your hands. While everyone warms up, Madhavendra Prabhu, I'd like to ask you, do you remember any more stories that Guru Maharaj shared with you about his childhood?
Yes. One I didn't share. He told me, because one time I forgot, it was long back. We were discussing about, outwardly living entities. As we know, they're not only human beings on this planet. There's everywhere in the Sarvagata, and the whole universe is occupied with different types of living entities. So we have, it's called genes. There's like, I think you say in English, genes. They're little tiny living entities. They're small in size, and they play tricks. They play pranks on people, on humans, oftentimes. So he used to tell me that when he was very small, in the estate of his grandfather, he used to see running around all these tiny, tiny little living entities. They're not humans. They're just, how do you say them? How do you call them in English? Hobgoblins, perhaps?
Imps, goblins.
Hobgoblins, I would say. So he told me that one time. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, the rest, because the rest is history. He went to Germany and all these things, This is much later. But from his early childhood, that's all I have. Okay.
We have a question from Anupama Madhavi.
Yes, please.
Please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my most respectful
Dandavat
obeisances
Pranam.
unto your
All
lotus
glories to
feet.
Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Srila Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing your experiences. They seemed so close, so intimate with Guru Maharaj. All I wanted to say is that, I would say this session wasn't enough. I'm sure that you have a lot of more experiences and memories with Guru Maharaj. So please
Yeah, I've
do
got a
come
lot.
again
I've got a
in this
lot,
session
definitely.
and share. And it was so nice to know about, the difference between initiate and a disciple and the tolerance level, as well as so many qualities of Guru Maharaj and how much
Yeah.
it will give us. Thank you so much.
Actually, I gave lots of recollections already to Archana for spiritual connections, to Govind Prabhu, to UK also. UK contacted me recently. So, it's already there. I mean, I gave lots of, much more than 45 minutes, for hours actually. So, yes, I think there's more people who want to discuss. Who else is there?
There
Hare
is
Krishna.
Ajay Chaitanya Prabhu. Yes, Ajay Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Ajay Chaitanya Prabhu, we can't hear you. Can you hear him, Madhavendra Prabhu?
No, I cannot
No.
hear anything.
We can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Just try again, please. Yeah, please try and unmute again. Prabhu, you are unmuted, but we can't hear you for some reason. You're unmuted, but Madhavendra, can you hear him? Because
Nothing.
I can't hear Ajay.
Nothing.
Strange, because you're unmuted, but I don't know why. That's really strange.
Go to
I
the
really
next
don't-
one.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. I'm not a technical wizard. Maybe you'd like to type your question? Maybe you can type your question? Thank you, Prabhu. There was one question from someone else. Can you please ask Prabhuji when will his upcoming book on Saving New Mayapur come out?
Oh yeah, we are still in the inception stage. I've been gathering interviews. Now I'm going to put down my own interview because I was quite instrumental in collecting also. And then I'm going to write a narrative. As I said, there's a whole team behind Madhvacharya, Janava, Govind, Archana, Gadada Priya. It's happening because for the first year I was kind of alone, so I was a bit disheartened. But now there's a good team. Last time we had a beautiful, very solid, constructive meeting. So it's going to be in English first because Guru Maharaj obviously would have written it in English, and then I'll have it translated. I'll translate it into French. But it's going to be, it's not ready. I would say at least 2 years, because it has to go to testimony, to posterity, all these happenings. Otherwise, we would have lost New Mayapur, as simple as that. It was gone with the wind. It was retrieved at the last extreme, like Lord Krishna. It's only Lord Krishna. You will see this. If you don't believe in Lord Krishna, you listen to that story. And then you're going to see. That's first-hand experience of Lord Krishna's intervention. Not only for 1 or 2 days, for 6 years, non-stop.
Okay, so Ajay Chaitanya Prabhu has sent his message. Guru Maharaj established CCV in Mauritius.
Oh yeah, I
Has
forgot
Guru
that one.
done this elsewhere? It made
Yeah, actually,
many
you're right.
devotees here.
I forgot about this episode. Yeah, Partsarati came there first in 95 or so. Then I joined him with Leela Madhuri in 96. And then, No, I joined in 1995. I guess Partsarati came in 94 or so. Then I joined him. It was a beautiful adventure. Beautiful adventure. Guru Maharaj was very fond of this center. It was a Vedic cultural center. Guru Maharaj used to tell us, see, Krishna consciousness is a cultural, we have to approach Krishna consciousness in a cultural manner, dance and so what we used to do in that center, Ayurvedic, we had an Ayurvedic doctor, we had cooking classes, and we had Hatha Yoga teacher, and I would give Bhagavad Gita classes. So it was a package. People would give 300 Mauritian rupees in those days, whatever it is. And it was thriving like anything. We had no debts, nothing. And I heard, because I left long back, I left in 97, there's one devotee recently who contacted me, and he became a devotee. I had forgotten even. He said, yes, I remember, so we had a good impact on the population, definitely. I don't know if he has done that elsewhere, but Guru Maharaj was very keen to approach the matter in a cultural way, Krishna consciousness should be also culturally digestible and approachable, and so he was very fond of that. I guess it may have happened elsewhere, I don't know. That was also, undertaken by Guru Maharaj, this Mauritius thing, yeah, definitely.
Perhaps Ajay Chaitanya Prabhu, are you in Mauritius?
There's one Ajay Chaitanya in Mauritius, I remember.
Okay.
I remember very clearly. A very senior devotee.
Yes, Ajay Chaitanya Prabhu, we still can't hear you. Really sad.
Oh, I can see there is, let's see.
Ajay Chaitanya Prabhu is there.
Tulsi Manjari, I remember her from Calcutta.
Yes,
Huh?
yes, she's here.
Yeah, very good.
Prabhu's here, Janava is here.
Wow.
That's
good. Yeah, Tulsi
Chandramukhi
Manjari was
Mataji
very...
is here.
Yeah, she had 2 sisters, I remember. Yeah. See, it's a big family, and this is the greatness of Krishna consciousness. We never lose out. As soon as we see each other, even after decades, we still reconnect as if we never left. It's always fresh. This is the greatness of. Anyone else would like to add up anything? Okay, looks like they are satiated.
Would you like to tell us one pastime in closing, Madhavendra Prabhu? One pastime with Guru Maharaj.
Okay, good. One pastime in closing. Okay, let's see. Let's see. One pastime.
Guru Maharaj give you any instructions on book distribution? Or, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, actually, in terms of recipe, I would say culinary recipe, the Monk's Delight. I don't know if you remember that. Guru Maharaj was very fond of Swiss, the country, Switzerland. And I remember there was quite a few recipes he was fond of. The Monk's Delight. I don't know if Prama, you may know this. You have to basically, it has to do with aloo with potatoes, and you have to roast them, but you should not burn them. It's not easy to do. I remember he used to try to train me. I'm not a good cook, to be honest. And it was not easy. Guru Maharaj was very fond of this, Monk's Delight. You have to roast some potatoes and put some oil and some particular spices. And he was very fond of coleslaw also. So wherever you, at least when he used to come to France in those days, may have changed later, but he was fond of those two preps, Monk's Delight and coleslaw, coleslaw. Yeah, he was, very simple also, Guru Maharaj. It's a very simple person. It's, we all think he's, a very big guru, yes, but he remains simple. I remember he used to come incognito in New Mayapur. In those days, I had a small trailer, at the back of the property. He would come and take prasad. Practically, prasad would be just practically whatever we eat every day. And Lina Madhuri would just cook regularly, and he would come out of the blue, say, "Oh, can I sit?" and take prasad. So, he was very casual, actually. And one time I remember I was serving him in Mayapur. And of course, Guru Maharaj was very fond of taking prasad alone, just like Srila Prabhupada. You don't bother him during prasad. You keep a distance, even 3-4 meters, easy. And I was serving him, dutifully and reverentially, I could say. But he said, "Okay, just come and sit." So I said, "Maharaj, but if I sit, who's going to serve?" "Don't worry, you just come and sit." So sometimes he would take you aback. It was unpredictable sometimes, Guru Maharaj, unpredictable. And you have to surrender to that also. All his moods you have to surrender. That's Guru, he can blast you, which is also mercy. And sometimes it's mentioned in the Shastra, this firm friendship. This is Maharaj, Narad Muni tells Maharaj Yudhishthira in the 7th canto, it's very strong, firm friendship. It doesn't mean we clap on each other's shoulders, No, that's not. Firm friendship means beyond life. It's a firm appreciation. Actually, it should be both ways. It's not only one-way traffic. It should be both ways. Firm friendship. He loves you and you love him. You stand for him. If need be, you stand for him. If, let's say, Guru Maharaj's words is stained or, discolored by someone else, you have to stand up. You have to fight. You cannot just step out. No, you have to protect. This is what it takes. Guru Maharaj protected Srila Prabhupada all the time. Even in the one time Guru Maharaj told me, I remember very clearly. I was not meant to be there, but what happened, I was there. I don't want to mention names, but one of his godbrother came. And in those days, it was Abhay Charan. It was not easy, Abhay Charan, in the beginning. Single-handedly, he had no experience of this filming industry. And he was not fully appreciated in the beginning by his Khan even. So one of his godbrother met him privately, and I happened to be, in the other room, so I could hear everything. And he said, "You just forget this thing. You're wasting your time. It's a lot of money. You're getting cheated. You don't have the support of the community." He told him straight in the face. And Guru Maharaj's reply was extremely loaded with instructions. Very humbly and softly, he told him, "This is my way to serve Srila Prabhupada. This is how I want to serve him. This is my offering. Who can interfere with that?" And the other devotee kept quiet and left. And then Guru Maharaj told me, right after, he said, "When you want to do something for Krishna, you just do it. You may not get support. People may come later to rally. Yes, once it starts going, the people come. But in the beginning, it was tough because he would lose money even, and people would take him for a ride. But he stuck to his guns, and it was a success. So it's like that, We are together, yes, but also we are alone. We are alone with Krishna, together. It's like, you fly out in different planes, army planes, those jets, extremely fast planes. When you're on the ground, you are together. You make strategy. We're going to do that. We're going to attack this thing. But once you are in the air, you may be packed together as a cluster, but still you are individually in your own plane. So yes, sometimes we have to stick to our resolve. Even you may not be even supported so much. Guru Maharaj showed that with Abhay Charan. I've seen it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhavendra Prabhu. We have a question from Janva. She's saying,
Yes.
Dear Madhavendra Prabhu, thank you very much for your inspiring glorification of Guru Maharaj. Please, can you share about Parivrajak Maharaj, Guru Maharaj's first sannyas disciple?
Yes, it's this Prabhu. I mean, this Maharaj was like my father. He was older than my father. One time I brought him to see, he joined a bit. He was late. He was already 60 plus, but he joined after me, 87 or so. And I mean, he's an extremely particular personality. His life was like Indiana Jones. He has lived in the world around. He was basically a big shot in the petroleum industry, like worldwide manager. He would manage huge enterprises in oil. So he lived all over the world, basically. And he was at war. He was born in 1927. He was there during World War II. So he has seen, I was to tell him, write a book on your life. It's beyond words, his life. He was a kid during World War II. He has seen. His hair became white at 17 because he was bombarded. He was in a city that got bombarded entirely. Out of fright, his hair became white at 17. So much he was frightened to death. Anyway, I don't want to get into that portion. So he joined as I said, around 60 with his mother. His mother was like mid-80s, late 80s. And this person was amazing. He came at the right time. He was, Lord Krishna is like a chess player. He's putting his chess, or you say the chess pieces themselves, his position is laying them out on the board. He came at the right time. New Mayapur was lost, and he was expert in legal matters. He disentangled the legal mess of New Mayapur. It was a totally legal mess. He disentangled that. He started a new entity. And then later, he was trained personally by Guru Maharaj to take sannyas. 96 was the centennial of Srila Prabhupada. No one took sannyas except two persons that year. Parivrajak Maharaj and Kadamba Maharaj, because he had been, also injured in Vrindavan. He almost lost his life also. So this Parivrajak Maharaj was extremely special. He did a lot in terms of saving New Mayapur and being sold out to Guru Maharaj. He was quite an expert preacher, at least in French, And Guru Maharaj trained him up from scratch. He took him around, he trained him how to become a sannyasi, and then he gave him sannyas in 96. So, and he himself, when this Prabhu joined, he had, of course, obviously some savings. He had a very heavy career, extremely successful career person. And he gave 3 lakh francs, cash, 3 lakh francs in those days, a lot of money. And I remember he had a particular rasa with Lord Krishna because he was elderly, So he was brand new. He sold his house, gave the cash, and he had, of course, he used to be a Frenchman, so they like good wines. And in front of my eyes, he took all these wine bottles, he emptied the wine bottles in the sink. So, he was showing his sincerity in that way. Very pricey wine bottles. And then he helped us a lot to save New Mayapur. During the auction, New Mayapur was auctioned off. It was lost. And he used to come in front of Lord Krishna in New Mayapur, in front of the altar, and he used to tell, look, Krishna, I've done my part. Please do your part now. He was very blunt. But we have to respect his demeanor. He had this very blunt nature, extremely also sincere at heart. So again, this is all to say that Krishna consciousness is full of different races. Not everyone will approach Lord Krishna in the same way. And he had this extremely blunt nature, but full-heartedly, sincerity was there. And hardworking. That's what it takes. Hardworking for Krishna. Krishna will not see, oh, he has done this. Is he hardworking? Is he giving his full heart? And he gave his full heart. And he left the world gloriously the day after his 91st birthday. He was born in, yes, he left in 2018. 91st birthday. I know his son, one of his sons, Jean-Yves, very nice person also. So, this is the state of affairs. Someone who joins very late, still he can make it. Still he can make it. He was molded by Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj molded him as a sannyasi. Does it answer your question, Mandaji? Tulasi, oh, it is Tulasi Manjari. Haribol. So how are you doing, Tulasi Manjari? Is there anyone around? I cannot hear anything.
Yes, devotees are still there. Madhavendra.
Hare Krishna. Sorry. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Lord Srila Prabhupada Maharaj. So, does it satisfy you?
Oh, actually, it was Janava Mataji's question. My question is different, and I sent it just now.
So, what is it?
The question which you just answered was Her Grace Janava Mataji's question.
Oh, sorry. Oh, about Parivajak Maharaj. Yeah, okay. And now the one is, okay, could you please also speak about how Guru Maharaj personally felt at times when his effort to please Srila Prabhupada and engage devotees in different projects were criticized? Did he ever share anything with you in this regard? Yeah, it's a very good question. It's quite intimate. Yeah, I could see also that sometimes it didn't work out. We have to be honest. It didn't work out the way originally it was meant to be. I'm talking about divine foods. You may not know the details anyway. I don't want to go into the details also, but the original intent, I told you, was to enable devotees to be hired and to make a living out of that. It was prashad distribution, so it's all in good. But it didn't turn out, in the long run at least, it didn't turn out like that. I don't want to get into the details. So Guru Maharaj can also be, as a good Vaishnava, he can also be detached. Shouldn't be attached to the fruits. 247, Gita says, don't be attached to the fruits. Don't consider yourself to be the cause of the result of your activity. Don't be attached to not doing your duty. 247. So Guru Maharaj was also like that. Yes, I tried, it didn't work out. Doesn't matter. We'll try something else. So I've seen, with Guru Maharaj was criticized. We have to understand that as soon as you do something for Prabhupada was criticized, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Lord Krishna was criticized, Mahaprabhu was criticized. As soon as you step out, the Lord Jesus Christ was criticized. As soon as you step out and take risk for Krishna, you're going to be criticized. That's it goes without saying. But we have to be detached. We have to be detached. We have to, basically, you do your things, You do your things and you stick to your original resolve. It's between you and your guru. You don't have to always ask any Tom, Dick, and Harry, It's, you do your things. If it is well in alignment with your guru's order, and provided the guru is well situated, of course, Guru Shastra Sadhu. And if he's also aligned with his own guru, it's fine, But you have to also to test it by ear. You can see if, oftentimes, when something is hard to accomplish, it may be also a sign of Lord Krishna that it's too difficult. So in that case, we shouldn't be over-attached, We shouldn't be over-attached. It's, so we have to consult. We have to consult also good friends, So Gumash was like that. Originally, he wanted to make a movie out of Abhay Charan. I remember. And then, what's her name? Malini, something. Hemla Malini told him, better you do a TV serial. So he changed his mind. Okay, let's do that. But he would not, he would stick to his resolve. At the same time, he was very concerned also not to displease his disciples. See, it's like Achintya Beda Bed, it's different and non-different. He was very fond of pleasing his god brothers, pleasing them, but at the same time, he would try to, conquer their hearts so they could rally to his opinion. I've seen that also. There would be so much softened, I would say, by his demeanor and his loving character. Then in the long run, they would just soften and finally agree, Or he would make them just, he just seduced them, conquered them. He was a great conqueror, actually, in his own way, the way he would conquer things. And at the same time, detached. If it doesn't work, so many times, Guru Maharaj, remember, they tried to, to even dirty his name, when they were kind of circulating the rumor, yes, he has conspired to poison Srila Prabhupada, all kind of nonsense. Maharaj used to tell us, if someone poisons Srila Prabhupada, it's me. I used to administer his medication. So, as I said, you can always, if you want to smear, if you want to, slander someone, you can always find room. Yeah. The main thing is we have to get rid of this envy. The only thing you cannot engage in Krishna consciousness is envy. The rest you can engage, lust, anger, whatever. But envy you cannot engage. That will rot your heart. That will make it rotten. So just do your things and carry on and try to be a nice Vaishnava as you move along your projects, It's like that, We are individuals in a community of Vaishnavas. And each and every Vaishnava is different. We have to respect that. Unity in variety. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Dandavat pranams.
Tulasi Manjari Devidasi.
Hare Krishna.
So where do you live now?
I live in Gibraltar, Prabhuji.
Wow. Gibraltar. You married one of our godbrother there?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And you have your family now?
Yes, Prabhu. We have.
Wonderful.
We have a 2-year-old daughter.
Wow. Wonderful. Yeah, Seuta, there is, I remember Arinalayan, such a nice devotee. And then Ceuta across, you have Dharmaraj, I think, huh?
Yes, yes.
Malaga, sorry.
Malaga. We are the same congregation. Vinod Bihari, Hemagori, Vinod Bihari Prabhuji, Hemagori
Yeah, yeah.
Mataji.
Dharmaraj, who used to be in France long back, he was initiated by Bhagwan, and he got reinitiated by Guru Maharaj.
Guru Maharaj, yes.
Yeah. This is the greatness. We are spread everywhere. Hare Krishna, Premaso. Anything else?
I wanted to add to that, when you were saying how that poison issue came out.
Yes.
I remember there was, there was such a big stir in the whole society, but Guru Maharaj he never defended himself.
Yes.
He wrote an open letter to the devotees saying, if, it's up to you all to judge what I have done. And I remember the whole controversy just died a natural death because of the humble position Guru Maharaj took.
Exactly.
He actually wrote an open letter to all the devotees in ISKCON saying, if, I place myself at your lotus feet, kind of, you all can judge.
Yes, exactly.
It was astounding.
The same happened in 94. There was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada from France, and he came to the GBC meeting in Mayapur, and he so much slandered Guru Maharaj heavily. He was a very fiery devotee. And in public in the GBC meeting. And the GBC meeting, after long deliberation, they decided is ostracized. This devotee is going to be excommunicated. Can you imagine? This is the heavy blow you can ever get. Excommunication. And I remember Guru Maharaj, it's amazing what he did. He said, look, okay, I'm the victim. I ask my dear GBC members, you please re-change your mind. You please go back on your decision. I take it as I voluntarily appeal to you. You please reconsider. Give him another chance. Can you imagine? He has been slandered publicly in bad words. Still, he gave him another chance. And actually, lo and behold, GBC retracted their decision. So this is Guru Maharaj. He goes he's bent himself backwards to accommodate everyone. It's beyond words.
Also, actually, I remember when we had the 50-man committee.
You have to speak louder, perhaps.
When we had the 50-man committee in ISKCON to kind of reassess all the initiating gurus and the GBCs who were there at that time after there were many fall downs. And Guru Maharaj's whole mood, I remember him telling us many times in darshans during that time that he said the whole mood, he would always tell the GBCs that first let us go through all the good things that each of these devotees have done, and then go through the complaints and so the whole mood was always to see the good and then look at the complaints that had come, so that it was just such a wonderful mood of always including and being inclusive and keeping the family together instead of ostracizing and chopping people and cutting them off. And
definitely
the whole mood was very positive always from my side.
This reminds me now, thank you to put me on the track, a story where practically Guru Maharaj, he kind of saved his ISKCON. I don't know if you know this story. Long back, I don't want to mention names, very, very senior devotee who left the world now. He was about to convince the GBC body to hand over ISKCON to Narayan Maharaj. This is long back, 1992 perhaps, I forgot, 93, 94. And there was a big, thrust of many senior devotees. Yes, Narayan Maharaj was, should definitely get heavily involved in ISKCON, managerially wise and all. And it came to the level of GBC because this devotee was so popular and and appreciated and listened to. He kind of almost convinced. He was practically on the verge of being accepted. Then 2 devotees fasted. They say, we're going to fast. One is Trivikram Maharaj and the other is Guru Maharaj. They say, no, we cannot do that. So then Guru Maharaj fasted. I remember I was there. I mean, it was quite a scene because he had been fasting 2-3 days, nirjal, no water. And then he asked, can you please reconduct an extra GBC meeting for that matter? And he confessed to them in private, yes, I had a dream of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada told him, in no way we should do that. No way. So then the whole thing tilted over. GBC reconducted. Yes, finally we're not going to do it. So can you imagine? So you can see, globally, Guru Maharaj many times saved this kind. At least on that particular issue, it comes to mind. So again, because the underlying foundation is allegiance to Srila Prabhupada. Don't jeopardize this allegiance. This is Prabhupada. We may respect everyone else, yes, but Prabhupada is there. This is the sole founder acharya of this mission for all times to come. Guru Maharaj was very protective of that. It's tatwa, Prabhupada tatwa. And that you have to imbibe this thing, because hand it over to your children. One day you may be guru yourself in your own time. So, this is what we are. Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj had to impart to us, the legacy. And he showed it. He showed it himself in his own life. Even sometimes it was at loggerheads with others. But still he stuck to it. When you ask gurus and big devotees today, when they speak about Guru Maharaj, what do they say? Did you hear? Yes. He's the most Prabhupada conscious I know. Because it rubs off. That's what they picked up. And they're right. This is his main traits of character. He's more Prabhupada conscious than anyone else. Everyone has picked up on that. Even though some of them were not in favor of that at certain moments, but still, they admit, yes. Even Gaudiya would say the same. Yes, he was a gentleman. He was always there to protect his country, to put Prabhupada in the center against all odds. So this is his main trait. Is yes, we have to imbibe this and make it our own, throughout our life. Hand it over to others as we're still living. Hare Krishna. Anything
Thank you,
else?
Madhavendra Prabhu. I think one session is not enough for you, definitely. We need to have more sessions with you.
As you wish. Once you get me going.
Yeah, it's like as you remember more, and then one thing
it's like
leads,
that.
you
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Madhavendra Prabhu.
Hare
It's
Krishna.
so nice to hear from you. Really,
Yeah.
really makes you contemplate.
Yeah, I'm going to try to come this summer. This winter, sorry, for Christmas. It's been a while I haven't come to India. Going to try this for Christmas, perhaps, yeah. Thank you, everyone, and please carry on nicely. And we have to help each other. This is always, we're on the same boat, remember. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhavendra Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
devotees. Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpa, Tulbasha Kripa Sindhube Vacha Patitanam Bhavani Vishnu Guna Mama. Please convey my best to Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. He's here. I will come away. I will convey
It's
you.
been years I haven't seen him also. It's very nice devotee. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhavendra Prabhu. Prabhu.
Send me
Thank you
the
so-
recording if you want, if you can.
Yes, Prabhu, it's on Guru Maharaj's Facebook channel. It's
Oh, okay.
always it's live telecast and it's there always.
So what is it called, the Facebook?
I think it's called BCS Facebook.
BCS Ishtagostisa?
I will send you a message because I'm not a really technical person. I'm really
Yeah.
bad at this.
Send me the
But
link on Facebook.
I will send you.
Yes, please. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Jai Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna.